you might be wondering why I'm showing you a picture of Salvador Dali's clock. Well, I want to see if I can make one. And I'm going to use this clock mold. I know the numbers on this one are actual normal numbers rather than Roman numbers, but I think it will look quite nice with the Roman numbers. Now I'm going to have a gold outside going on this and a blue inside, but I'm also going to have the numbers black, and I'm going to show you a really easy way of getting those numbers in there so they're nice and black. I have no idea if this is going to work out, but I don't care. I know this bit will work out because I've done this many times before, and that is painting the numbers in using acrylic paint. And then once you let that dry, what will happen is the resin will pick that up really well, give you a lovely coating. Any you've got that's come above the mold, you can just clean off. It'll clean off really well. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to paint these numbers. I'll probably give them 2 coats because then it makes it nice and solid. So once that's dry, it's so easy to clean it up. It's much easier to do it when it's dry than when it's wet. All you need to do is get a baby wipe on your finger and just push right up to where you want to clean it off on the surface. And keep changing that over and then remove the black. If you do this when it's wet, all you keep doing is smearing bits out of where you've put it, and then you don't get a nice finish. There we are. That one's all nice and clean. And just go round and finish those off, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Now I'm ready to pour my resin in, and I've got to be honest, this is my 3rd attempt at this. And at the end of the video, I will show you the other attempts and tell you what I think I did wrong. First of all, what I'm going to do is go through and pour this into all my letters to try and avoid getting any or too many trapped bubbles in there. So I'm just going round, wiggling that in. I've warmed this resin up a little bit to enable it to flow a little bit easier as well, because as we know, the 4-hour decure is brilliant, but it is a little bit thicker, and so having it warmer really does help it flow that much easier. And I know exactly how much I need to mix up because, as I said, this is the 3rd time I've done it. So never worry if you mess up. Look, even us YouTubers, we get it wrong and we mess up all the time. So don't be put off if you mess something up. Just, keep trying, because the best of us and the worst of us mess up all the time. So there we go. That should be done. Now, I need to keep an eye on this so it gets to the point where I can still stretch it out. Gonna burst the bubbles that have come up, and I'll keep going over this for the next 10-15 minutes to ensure that I've got as few bubbles as possible going on in there. Try and get that as level as possible as well. And then hopefully I'm going to catch this at the right time for this one. Well, I think this is now at the stage where I can let it drip out. And what I'm going to do is turn this upside down like that and see if it will run out. Because I want it to kind of run out and then run down. Oh, no. I should have put gloves on, look. Okay, so I've just this. As you just saw, I dropped it on my tape because I was going to try and tape this to there so it ran out a little bit, but then I ended up dropping it on my tape because I is so clumsy. So we'll leave this now for an hour or so and we'll actually see if it does bother do what I want it to do, which is run out. I think it is too late, and if it is, I'm going to abandon this idea. Well, it is starting to run, and I want it to be like a puddle and move along here as well. Not sure if the numbers and all that will run with it, but we will have to wait and see what that looks like. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Oh, I'm so clumsy with this. It's just going to be an absolute flipping nightmare. This is just not going to work out, is it? Let's have a look. Anyway, we'll leave it to cure and then we'll have a look. It might work. I don't think it's gonna. It might, but I really don't think it's gonna. Well, that's good enough now for me to be able to take that out, but I think that's going to be too thin. But it might allow me to stretch this out a little bit more, make it into a different shape. It's still quite pliable, and then it looks like it's just melted off at the bottom. What I now need to do is fold that over about there, let that harden. Maybe the weight of that will allow that to come down too much, but I don't want it to come down too far, so I am going to put that there to stop the weight of it ripping it. Let that harden up, and we may need to reinforce that back with something. to make it do what I need it to do. And I may cut this off even at the end, but that has worked better than any of them so far. Well, this is cured up now and it's gone nice and hard, so I can take it off this box. Oh, and was that a palaver? I hope you had a laugh at my expense, because everybody deserves to laugh at that. Oh, did I make a mess? So, it's a bit flimsy now, because this is quite thin where we've stretched the resin, but I quite like it. I do need to remove this bottom bit here, so I'm going to remove that now, and that should be fairly easy to remove. All I'm going to do is heat that up a little bit so it's nice and soft using my heat gun. And then go around that with my scissors and get rid of it. There we go. And that should harden that up a little bit now. And now all I need to do is leave that for a little while to harden up. I want this bit here because obviously that's where the clock bends and oozes over. And some of the numbers have stretched as well. The little centre bit definitely has. Now, I want to make this a little bit more robust. I definitely think the way to do that is going to be with UV resin. And I'm using the high viscosity UV resin here by J Diction because I think it's the best one for this. It would be nice and thick, and it's going to lay on here really quite nice and thick and give me this extra layer. I could use an epoxy and let it thicken up, but I don't want to wait. I'm going to give this a whole covering all the way over. Because if I use an epoxy, I'm going to have to wait at least 24 hours before I do the next stage. By using this high viscosity UV resin, it's going to be about 10 minutes at the most. And all this is really doing is replacing where that resin has thinned out. Well, adding that UV resin has made a massive difference to how rigid this is as well. It has got a lot stronger. And what I now need to do is add my clock workings. And I've got the clock here. These are fairly cheap. I think you get these for about £4 each. And I'll link them down below. And they're really easy to fit. What you do is you pop your bit through, tighten up your nut. It's always good to have tight nuts. There we are. And then you put the hour hand on first. Yep, that's on there nicely. Then you put the second hand on. These are a tight fit, so you will need to push them down, but try not to bend them out of shape when you're doing it as well. But there's the second hand, and there's the one that counts the seconds. Third hand, the little hand, as we always used to call it. It's just pushes straight in there. Oh, actually, I really like that. I wasn't sure about it, and it is working, look. Thank goodness. So I've set the time. It isn't quite how I planned it in my head, but actually it looks a lot better now it's got its hands on. So there we go. It's going to hang there from my shelf so I can see the time in here, and it's a Salvador Dali-ish stylish clock. But as promised at the beginning of this video, I did say I would show you my disasters, and that's the first disaster, although I love how it looks as a clock. My friend suggested turning it into an Alice in Wonderland clock, and I think I might make one as well anyway with Alice in Wonderland, but I snapped a bit off it. This one, I left it far too late to do any of the stretching and pulling, and it just ended up looking like that, which wasn't too bad, but it was very ugly around there. I think that one would have been better if I'd have had a flatter base for this, but there we go. So I do have disasters as well. Please don't think I don't, because I do, and I have a lot of them, especially when I'm trying something new or experimenting with a new look. Shared these disasters with my members group, and they love seeing my disasters too, because they're a brilliant group of people. They're so funny, they're lovely and supportive. Put that like button if you've enjoyed this video. A little bit different to what I normally make. Make sure you check out the video that's coming up next, which is another experiment video. And I will link everything that I've used today in the description below. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.